Okay, guys, this is a little update from me. I've had a really rough day today. I've had the virus for 28 days or 30 probably. And you sort of get to a point you think you're getting, well, I think I'm better. And then I have a little symptom that's popped up today. So it's really hardcore. I think the body gets really drained from being so unwell. And it's really annoying that we're all having to go through this, whatever we're going through. It's really hard for so many of us and people who are on their own as well, particularly with the virus. If you get it, you're wiped out for, on your own basically. So if anybody out there, needs people to talk to, just make sure you're checking in with people or got people looking after you, looking after each other at this time. I'm going to show you this chart briefly. 12th of January 2020, and I'm going to run through. If you look, you can see my pointer. You've got 22 degrees Sun, 22 degrees Pluto, 22 degrees Saturn, 23 degrees Mercury, South Node 7 degrees, all in Capricorn. Okay, that was the 12th of January 2020. So what we can then see is that was the defining point when we had the Pluto-Saturn, famous Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And the last time that took place was in Capricorn, was in 1518, when we had what was called the Reformation. Okay, this is educational. And I'm going to show you a few things that I found interesting today. So what we can do is I'm going to now take the date. You can see what I'm doing. You can go to this site actually, AstroSeek. You can get your own chart here as well. Brilliant stuff. You can get full moon calendar as well, or not full, but the moon. But I'm going to jump a month ahead. So I'm going to go to month, and I'm going to go to the 12th of February. And then you can see that, the planets moved. They were all at 22, you saw just now. And then you've got the sun moved off, and a month later, it's at 23 degrees Aquarius, and then we've got Pluto at 23 degrees Capricorn, and still Saturn conjunct, and then you've got Jupiter catching up there, 16 degrees. But at that point, the orb, if we give it 10 degrees orb, then we can see 16 to 23, sort of all orbing in together. And then Mars is in Sagittarius at that point, 27 degrees. And then that's in Sagittarius. So it's really complex astrology, but it's not the more you understand it. Like, there's so much swirls around my head. And if you don't know what you're looking at when you look at a chart, it can be confusing. But the more you get to know, the easier you get to see and understand what's going on. But I'm going to show you something. If you scroll, you can see what's going on. You can see the sun is sextile Mars. Let's take Saturn conjunct Pluto there, look. And then if you go to the chart, Saturn, Pluto. Let's see what Jupiter's doing. Scroll down. Jupiter, sextile Neptune. And let's see from the other angle. Jupiter square the moon. And all goes into play at some point. So making sense. So let's jump ahead now to a month. And we have March the 12th. So you can see here, we got some sextiles that day. Sextiles 60 degrees apart from each other. A square is 90. And then we have an opposition. The moon moves really quickly, so we don't need to be too worried about, that. The inner planets move quick. Venus moves 224 days around a chart. The moon 28 days. The sun takes a year. And then we have Mercury, which is speedy at 88 days around the chart. And then you've got Mars, 2 years around the chart. There's Mars. And then you've got Jupiter, 12 years around the chart. And Saturn, 29 years, about that 29. And Pluto, 240 years around the chart on average. So on the 12th of March, you can see that Jupiter is then conjuncting Pluto, and Mars was joining in as well, and Saturn was at 29 degrees, and just about to move into Aquarius, because for the last 2.5 years Saturn has been in Capricorn. So if I jump a month ahead again here, then you can see what's going on at the moment. I'm going to go back to today. So we're going to go back one day here to the 11th, and today is the 10th. So we can see what's going on today right now, roughly. So we've got squares, we've got Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn and Mars all up here. And Pluto and Jupiter are in Capricorn, and so is the South Node. And then you've got Saturn at 1 degree Aquarius. Saturn is to do with structure and karma and father, like patriarchy, yeah? And it rules Capricorn. And then also you've got Mars, that's our power force, our drive, like Rambo, that's what I want, desire. So we got Neptune is in Pisces, and we've got Mercury, which is just in Pisces, and it's going to go into Aries. And then we've got Chiron in Aries, or Chiron, the wounded healer. We've got Lilith in Aries, and we've got the Sun in Aries as well at 21 degrees. So we've got another 9 days of that going on. And then it will move into Taurus, the Sun. But we've also got Uranus in Taurus, which is to do with our breaking free of limitations and our trauma and such like. A lot more going on, but I'm just trying to be brief as I can. And then you've got Uranus in Taurus, which is to do with our resources and needs. And the ruler is Venus. And we've got Venus in Gemini and the North Node in Cancer. So all meaningful. So you can see right now, we've got the moon is trining, got some nice trines to Mercury and Chiron. And then we've got some sextiles to Chiron, to Pluto and Jupiter. And then we've got some squares. So the squares to Uranus are going on for a while, and the planets squaring there. And then also the sun. So we've got the sun square Pluto and Jupiter. And if you scroll down, you can see sun square Jupiter, sun square Pluto, moon trine Mercury. So you can really begin to understand these, but then you can look at the aspects. And if you start Googling or get a good book, I've got one, it's called Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. Brilliant book to have. You can get it on Google. So you can begin to understand the meaning of how the planets speak to each other. So the sun square Jupiter, what it means, etc. So really showing you, this is my view, because I'm looking at my own life. It's like, oh my God, where am I going? What am I doing? So if we take a month at a time and we now start moving ahead, we have April 10. So let's go to May 10. And we can see then we've got some nice trines going on. May 10th. So let's go ahead a week. Let's see, bear with me. And again, we've got these nice trines going on and a square still to Uranus. And if we go another week ahead, you can see that the planets here have all gone retrograde. Pluto retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde. So things are going to be a bit different, but it looks like things may calm down a bit around May, around that time. And if we go another week ahead, you can see that the planets, because they're going retrograde, we lose a lot of that activity of the squares from Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. We're losing that square, which is really interesting to Uranus. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of May, what sort of mood humanity is in. But saying that, let's see if we jump ahead a month. I'm just playing, so not playing. I mean, it's not just play, but it's just showing you and giving us all an idea. So if we go to the 31st or the 30th of June, we can see that we've got less tension going on there. All these planets have moved off Uranus and there's less squares going on, but we've got a square Chiron to the Sun. And again, you can look below to see what exactly is going on, and the orbs as well. That means an orb is the distance apart from planet to planet. And then we'll go ahead to the 30th of July. And we can see Mercury there. We can see that big red line. That's an opposition. But Mercury moves quite quickly. So that will move off that way, because that takes 88 days to go around a chart. And we've got, again, we've got some squares, tension. So tension isn't all bad, but it's part of life. We all have tension, which makes us get on with things. But it's worth understanding astrology, because then we can see what's going on. And again, you can look at the aspects and you can see the squares here. The moon square, Mercury square, sun square, Uranus. And you get more deeper into astrology. August. Again, we've got some squares to Mars. We've got other stuff going on. I'm just being brief here. And then we go forward again, and then we've got squares to Lilith and Mars. That's September. And October, we've got a lot of squares and oppositions going on. But again, the moon and the sun and Mercury, they're all in the planets. They move quite quickly. The outer ones move very slowly, and they're very defining to what's going on with us. October, November, we've got some squares going on, back Pluto to Uranus again, okay? December, we can see a lot more squares going on. January, so all of that stuff going on with Mars, all of these planets there. And then big squares to Uranus and Lilith, and looks like maybe Mars. Again, you can look down here. I can teach you this stuff if you want to, you know, if you want to basically talk to me about this. I'm doing an offer at this time, because a lot of people, you know, can understand and learn about themselves through astrology. It's a way to help us evolve. What I did notice, this was my point. This is March 2021. We literally begin to lose those squares to Pluto. So look at this, April, May. So it seems at this time, we have got a Jupiter square there, but all of these planets are in a totally different position. My view is that whatever we're going through, it's a year-long process. That's all I'm going to say. And then there's something else I want to show you. I was looking at the idea of this. I want you to go and find this video. I'm going to put the link below. This is a mentor, somebody who taught me astrology, looked at my chart, a guy called Simon Vorster, and really worked with me on my chart. And I highly recommend his work. So please go and check out this video today. It's called Mercury Direct, and it explains that Mercury is moving into Aries, and it's a brilliant channel. He's got brilliant stuff, and I'll put the link below, as I said. So that's it for today. Hope I made sense. My booking is below if you want to book me. I'm doing a special offer during this self-isolation or isolation distancing period to help as many people as I can. Okay, that's it. End meeting. Catch you later.